Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CX Accelerator Show with Nate and Erica. We are so happy to be joining you on this, what is today? Tuesday, Monday. Hello, Erica.
Hello, Nate. How are you on this fine Monday?
I'm feeling a little spooky. I got a fall-like beverage, and I got my Halloween shirt on. You're excited. You are celebrating something big. What happened last night?
My NHL team, the Carolina Hurricanes, won the Stanley Cup for the first time in 20 years. I was in college the last time they won, so I've been a long-suffering fan through many years of drought. I
Wow.
got the mini season ticket package, I think in '09, center ice, lower level for like $90.
Woo! Wow. That's
And
so
yeah,
good. Congratulations, Hurricanes.
thank you.
And
It's a
Knicks
good
as well.
yes, go Knicks too.
The big day in the sporting world yesterday, and there was a fight at the White House. Goodness gracious. A lot going on.
In the World Cup, like all the things.
Yeah, it's exciting. And we were talking with our guest that's about to come on, just how unifying that is in a community sense when people get to have these shared experiences. You might be thinking, gosh, it's just sports. It's just, why does this matter so much? Well, right now, people are hungry. They're craving for things that can connect them to those around them in their community. And it's harder and harder to find those things when we get caught in the insular thinking that we've talked about before, Erica. So having these unifying elements is awesome.
Couldn't agree more. I'm super, super excited about today's episode and the topic we have at hand. But before we bring on our guest, I want to tee things up a little bit and stick with me because this is going to make more sense once we bring Robbie, our guest, on. But Nate, to kick off today's conversation, I have a question for you. Is there a place that you go where everybody knows your name? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, there is a place. It's Apex Pickleball in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And the reason I got started playing that silly little recreational game with a plastic wiffle ball is because I was definitely very hungry for community. And as soon as I got on that court and started learning how to dink, there's a unifying language element. The barrier to entry is so low in terms of being able to play and have fun. You're not going to be really good, but you're going to be able to carry on. And also, that first time after playing pickleball, I had like 15 new friends. And I was at a
Mm.
time in my life, many years ago where that really, really mattered to me. Like I was struggling to have community in my area. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So I love being able to today, come in and I've got, I don't know, 150, 200 people in my extended pickleball network. I've got so many people where they're in my phone is like Donna Pickleball. But I just love that. So Erica, same question to you.
First of all, I love that. And I have this dream of having a pickleball tournament for the CX community, and we're going to make that happen one day. I've never played pickleball, but you've inspired me to get involved. I
Yeah.
would say, though, for me, the place that I feel like everybody knows my name and I just feel most seen is at an ICMI conference. We were just
Yeah.
talking about events and how we're like getting prepped for event season, and there's just something so special about that community of people. Uh,
So true.
that community just has a gift for making people feel like they belong, and for lifting each other up and encouraging each other. And so that event every year is like one thing that I really look forward to.
Clever plug from my co-host, but I completely agree. And it is literally my favorite show of the year, Erica. And you have so much to do with that in terms of people are there and they feel loved, they feel appreciated, they feel like they belong as part of that event and that group of people. You are the heart behind that. So thank you for what you do.
It's kind of you to say, but my job is easy when the people surrounding me are so incredible. So I'm very grateful.
It's good to be in the CX space. And when we all get together at a good event, oh man, the magic. Well,
Yeah.
Erica, let's get our friend up here.
Let's do it. So we are joined today by special guest Robbie Jefcoat. Robbie, welcome to the CX Accelerator Show. How are you today?
I am great. And any chance you get a chance to talk to people about experiences and making people feel seen and feel known, like you talk about life-giving opportunities, that's what you want. That's the people you want to surround yourself with. People who get as passionate about experiences and people and just knowing everyone like I do. So I'm super thrilled to be top on with you guys today.
Well, Robbie,
We're
we're so
super
grateful. And I got to know you earlier, I guess in the fall. It was last fall. You were putting on a summit here in Nashville. And what you created as part of that event was so special. And I come in and there's this dude with full on dynamic energy wearing this goofy Hawaiian shirt. And I'm like, who is this cat? I like him.
Like sometimes it's funny where I feel like when we're growing up, you are kind of you try to be cool, right? You try to be cool. You try to be who you think what cool looks like, what you see on
Sure.
television or things like that. But then and that wasn't really me. I tried to do that stuff. But then
Ditto.
as I got in my adult, you know what? This is who I am. Like let's have fun. Like let's be loud. Let's be bright. Let's just smile. And sometimes we're gonna make a fool of ourselves. But you know what? That's okay too. So,
I think you're cool, Robbie.
well, thank you, Nate. You say it likewise. It was so awesome. I was like, man, this guy, like, we may be related down the line. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Tell us who you are professionally, what your title is, and who you represent, Robbie.
Sure. So again, I'm Robbie Jefcoat. I work for a company called Badge Pass out of Ridgeland, Mississippi, down south, and I am the EVP of Customer and Brand Strategy here. So I get to be very creative. I get to work with our customers of all shapes and sizes, our partners, as well as work with our marketing team. So I get to kind of hear the voice of what our customers and our partners are seeing. Now, Badge Pass, what we do is we create photo ID software. So, like you've probably seen these, whether you have corporate or whether you're university or K through 12, we do the software that allows you to issue both physical and virtual badges.
Nice.
So we are the engine underneath there.
awesome. Well, Robbie, as I was reading through some of the show prep notes, I was just so fascinated by the work that you guys do. I think it's so cool, so unique. And one of the things that stood out to me when we were chatting about this episode is you said a student who gets called by name feels seen. And whoa, that one almost gave me chills. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so no, happy to. So we're in the security industry, and the security industry is very wide, right? Like you've got security guards, you've got security cameras, you've got door access where you can use your badge to get into things. And then like we're in the security industry, right? Using a badge. And there's so many security elements, how the badge communicates to a door, how you get in and out, how you do audit trails, tracking, all these different types of things. And there was one thing that was always I think we as a security industry could do better, and that is kind of getting proactive. We're great at reactive. We're incredible at reactive, finding the camera footage,
So
finding
good.
keeping people out. But proactivity is kind of tricky, right? Because like how do you prevent something from bad from happening? How do you like get ahead of it? How do you make people feel safer and not feel like you're in a jail cell, right? So we specialize in ID badges and what that can bring. And if you've ever been to like an event like you were talking about, that's a key part of it, right? Because you're surrounded by tons and tons of people, and you don't know who you're connecting with, you don't know who you're talking to, and you're about to learn 100 different names, and that's very difficult. So we were like, you know what if we kind of change that pitch where it's not just talking about the security of like visual security, which is very important, right? Having somebody know what badge they're wearing and if they belong here, if they don't belong here, very, very important. But let's take it a step further and let's use this as like a billboard, right? A little mini billboard and allow you to connect with people who come through. And that's a no-brainer in like trade shows, right? Where you need to remember the people you're going with, where they're from, things like that. But I was like, well, that's something everybody gets on board with. But let's talk about that from a K through 12 environment,
Mm.
right? How can that affect a student? How can that affect their day? How can that affect something that maybe you can or maybe you can't control? And so it really came down to what if students, as they're using these badges to potentially like pay for meals in their cafeteria, or maybe they're using it to scan a barcode to get onto a bus or things like that. What if we really enhance that badge design and make that first name really large on there so that when they're walking through the door, what if we do a culture change? What if
Mm.
we say, hey, instead of just having this as like visual security, and if you don't wear these, you get demerits, or you get in trouble, or things like
Yeah.
that. But we tell our teachers, hey, you guys have a really hard job. Like remembering all these students and remembering your students is hard, But remembering the students across the whole school is very, very difficult. So we're going to give you a little cheat code. We're going to make sure all the students wear a badge that has their name printed first. And then let's go ahead and when they walk through the door, let's greet them by their first name.
Love it.
Hey, Nate, it's great to see you. Hey, Erica, love your shoes, right? There's something about us hearing our name, if I hear Nate or Erica, where
Yeah.
you're like, oh, they know me. Even if they don't know me, it's kind of like that trick, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm not just hey man or hey
Right.
buddy. Having your name said means something.
Well, the dynamic of that shifts so much from, because if you think about security, or if you think about, looking at our ITSM brethren, we have a lot of ITSM followers of this show, and the legacy mentality of that was us versus them. We got to protect this company from its people. The people are the liability. We got to keep them from screwing up. And, you could feel the animosity of that mentality. But what you're talking about, Robbie, is still keeping people safe, but you're switching the mentality around it to where you're also cultivating community.
And the metrics of that are kind of crazy. So like there are some crazy stats to like, especially in the K through 12 environment, where a kid who feels like they're actually wanted to be there, especially like the public school sector, they have there were some awesome studies. People have done some awesome things over time, but like a 15% increase in student engagement. There's a reduction in absenteeism, an increase in self-esteem, just from a kid feeling like, hey, I do belong here. Someone does want me here, because we have no idea what people are going through in their private lives. And there's so many things. Life's messy. Life's hard. Life's complicated. So if calling somebody by their first name in a positive way can have any positive benefit, I don't know a teacher alive who wouldn't be like, heck yeah, like let's do that, because teachers have the hardest job in America, having to and deal with a million different things, but they do have hearts of gold where they want their students to feel connected and cared for. And if that can help it, and if this piece of plastic hanging around their neck can help be the vehicle for connection, then we're all in.
That is beautiful. And I can tell you, I've seen that firsthand. We have a 6-year-old. He's switching schools, and we've
Yeah.
started him off at a summer camp program this summer. And kindergarten was rough for him. He has hearing loss, so he struggled to get started learning to read.
Yeah.
And after just a week at this new school, they started off with a big poster with his name, welcoming him to the room. We had a
Oh,
sign for the car, and he was like, Mom, they already knew my name.
wow.
And they told me I'm so smart, that I already know so much. And he now is coming home every day wanting to practice reading. It's like in 1 week, just that shift to your point, just from
Beautiful.
building that trust and making people feel seen and valued. It's so powerful. So that's why I was just really drawn to the work that you're doing, Robbie. And something else that stood out to me is that it really sounds like you all are going all in and hedging your bets on local relationships and investing in building those local relationships, which I think stands out right now. It's a little bit rare in this AI transformation age that we're living in. So tell me a little bit about why you're placing your bets on those local relationships.
Yeah, so this is actually a new thing, really, in the past few months,
Mm.
and technology is changing, and we're very pro AI as far as tools and using it to help with product and getting out product output, analyzing things, coming up
Mhm.
with ideas, brainstorming with, using it as like a partner, as a tool. It's awesome, and it's also not going away, right? Like it's a big piece of it.
It's inevitable.
But the one thing it can't replicate is that human connection, right? Like knowing who the person is, knowing who's in your local community, and making you feel seen and feel valued. So one thing we've really started focusing on as a corporation in the software space is we're calling them like our franchises, where we take areas and local, like in Jackson, Mississippi, or Birmingham, Alabama, or Orlando, Florida, or Seattle, Washington, and taking people who were from that area, who were connected to people in that area, and then having in-person meetings. And like that was used to be a big deal back in the day, and then COVID changed a lot of things, and honestly for the better. A lot of tools got really good afterwards for virtual meetings and things like that. But I can promise you, as much as I love a virtual meeting, having them in person is just, it hits different. And then, so we've been really focusing on that, having local support, where if you're calling somebody, you're not just calling the corporate office in Mississippi, but you're getting somebody locally who's like, all right, I'll come out on site. Let's check it out. Let me have a kind of face-to-face meeting. And that's something that AI, I think, can help support.
Mhm.
but will never replace, right? I totally believe that we're in the middle of a pendulum swing where it's like it's very AI heavy. That's the talk of where everything's going and what we're doing. But we're human. As you mentioned with sports teams, we want to be connected with one another. We want to feel like we're all one thing. We want to feel like we're all part of the same community. And
Yeah.
I do think that while AI will never go away and it's changing our world rapidly, the need for having somebody local who understands you, who speaks your, I'm going to say speaks your same language, but not even talking about language, but like knows like how the county is and knows like, yeah, you remember the old Walgreens, like like that's maybe that's a Southernese type thing, but you remember? Oh yeah, no, I remember that. But the local high school, there's something there that really helps foster that and build something I think that's super powerful. And to be totally honest, we're seeing that. So like we're taking we took a bet on there, and again we zigged when other people are zagging, but it is working. And we've had multiple opportunities where a customer's been like, man, we haven't had somebody come in person to see us in a long time.
Amazing.
And it led to what was a 30-minute meeting to a 2.5 hour meeting. And there's all kind of different things where it's like, man, like so good to meet you. And like, tell your kids, hey, like there's a lot of that, really just cool organic things that only being there locally can provide.
So smart. It's so consistent, Robbie, with what we're discovering through CX Accelerator. Our mission being to equip and connect CX professionals on every stage of their career journey. We have tripled down in the last year and a half on in-person gatherings. We love our digital space, and we have a very robust and dynamic virtual community. It does not accomplish the same objectives with as rich, deep connection as the in-person gathering networks that we've been able to create. Eric, I don't know if your mind went here. I was immediately going back to Reinventing Customer Service by Matt Dixon. Do you remember that amazing case study from a few years ago on T-Mobile?
Yep.
And they created customer service SWAT teams, little families of customer service people who specifically supported different geographies, and they went deep to know and understand that community of people, and they supported that community of people very intimately and very deeply. And the success that T-Mobile had through that strategy was unreal.
Yeah, I love stories like those. I love to see the work that your team is doing, Robbie, and I want to see more of it out there. So I'm just so excited for more people in the CX Accelerator community to hear about this and to see the examples that, yes, it is still worth it. It's such a smart strategy. And I want to dig even a little bit deeper because you said something to me on Slack that I've been thinking about a lot over the last couple of weeks, Robbie. You said something about how a lot of organizations are maybe unintentionally creating anonymous experiences. So, can you help me unpack that? What do you mean, and what does that do to the customer experience?
Yeah, I think we fall in the rapid technology world we're in right now of like numberizing people, where it's just like this is a number, this is a you're not nothing more than just a transaction, right? And then there's ways where you just feel anonymous and you feel unseen, and then when you get to a moment, and personally or professionally, where you're not feeling seen or valued, nothing good happens. Like nothing in any aspect, in any vertical, in K through 12, in corporate, in healthcare. My gracious, there's things where even patients who feel like we've seen this in healthcare, when they feel more connected, and there's logic there of like to their nurse or to their doctor, and they don't feel like they're just a bed, they actually heal quicker because like we feel like we oh, this person cares about me. Like there is something just innately human, and it's the most beautiful thing about what makes us human is that desire for connection. And there is a lot of times where I think we can, and this is across multiple areas, where we sometimes corporations value the bottom line over like, hey, if your people feel valued, your customers feel valued, they feel like you actually care, not
Mm.
that you like care in a mission statement. That doesn't count. That you actually care, that you're making meaningful change, that you're calling them by name, that you're writing down, oh yeah, they mentioned that their kid has a soccer tournament. Maybe next time they call, maybe I should remember to say that. Like, hey, how'd the soccer tournament go? Like simple things you would do to somebody if you saw them at the pickleball court, like you mentioned, right? Like, hey, how'd that go this weekend?
Yeah.
And then immediately, like walls come down. People feel like, oh shoot, like Nate cares. And that's a completely different thing than anything transactional. And there's helpful hints you can do. I mean, you got a pen and paper, you can write things, name tags as far as remembering names. Like there's all kind of things that help take that anonymity and takes it away, like eliminates it. And then you're playing a different game at that point.
And it doesn't cost anything to add these little touches back in, right? And it requires very little, if any, time. If anything, I think we could probably be tapping into AI to help us make some of this personalization a little bit easier. And
True.
it's so fascinating to me because we were chatting on a recent podcast episode about how sometimes maybe as CX professionals, we are guilty of relying a little bit too much on the warm and fuzzy and forgetting business outcomes. But I would argue that when you invest just a little bit of time in giving people that warm and fuzzy feeling, you're going to see the business outcomes follow, especially right now more than ever. I just think it's such a privilege to be working in CX right now with everything going on in the world of AI. Like, this is almost a calling. It feels like we get to live out a mission every day, and it does make a big difference in people's day-to-day lives.
Yeah, because
Nate, what do you
I
think?
interpreted that a little differently when Robbie put that out there. That idea of an anonymous experience. My mind went, Erica, to this idea of all these brands stripping out the distinctive and unique elements of their service experience and just automating things through the
Yeah,
same
there's no
engine
brand.
as everybody around them. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, yes, we should be enhancing our self-service. We should be making quick parts quick through the new technology capabilities. But like, what are we earning as part of that? We should be earning the distinctive proactive guidance elements of a rare and wonderful experience that is enabled by all these other things happening in real time and better data and just better flow and all of this. And just, yeah, people are just giving an anonymous experience. Like it almost doesn't even matter. I don't care about you. You have no reason to care about me. So I think that your idea there works both ways, Robbie. It's interesting.
Yeah. There's probably going to be a reckoning here soon in the next couple of years, but we shall see. But Robbie, I want to kind of bring it all home, and I've got one more question for you. So, for everyone out there who's listening today, if they could make one change tomorrow that would help people feel more seen, known, and valued, what would you tell them to do? What should they focus on first?
Quote a very famous song, say their name, say their name. Well, say my name, but say their name, right? So I think that is sometimes the simple things are we try so much to think outside the box, and that is important, right? Like being creative and like coming up with these grandiose ideas. But sometimes the simple things kind of sitting you right in the face, right? Like the name matters, and like when you're talking to a customer, like call them by their first name, like say, hey, like it's good to see you, Nate. Like excited to be here, Erica. Use it, and it takes a little bit of practice, a little bit, but it's something that doesn't cost anything, and it's more just a mindset shift. And then do that not just with your customers, but in your office. I promise you, we've seen it in this office that when you start thanking coworkers by name or you're doing a big presentation and you're saying, hey, here's what we did. And this was not the marketing team or the CX team. No,
Yeah.
like, hey, Nate and Erica were a huge part of this, like bringing this to life. And then it's like, oh, shoot, I matter. Like, that's cool. Like, I feel seen. I feel valued. I think that's something that's simple that everybody can start doing tomorrow. And you'll already start seeing some great dividends.
Good. Erica, do you have an answer to that question?
So, one thing that I think people can be doing to make people feel more seen, known, and valued. This is something that I myself have worked on personally over the last couple of years, but I think it's just taking the time to kind of pause and listen before reacting, which is hard to do when it feels like the world is moving so quickly. But even just taking like a 5 to 10 second pause, taking a deep breath
Yeah.
before you respond or react to someone can totally shift the dynamic of that conversation, the project that you're working on, that moment in time. And those things over time, each small interaction can have a ripple effect.
Wow.
Nate, what do you think? I want to know your take.
Yeah, my mind immediately goes back to this concept that I've really been convicted around with this idea of a servant challenger. So it's like, let me serve you first, and let me be selfless in this interaction. Let me hear you. Let me see what you're challenged by. Let's discover together, like, what's an opportunity where I could truly support you in whatever you're trying to achieve, and maybe be a good guide for you in some way. Maybe not always, but like, there's probably some way that I could truly serve you. And then maybe over time, as part of that, maybe there will be even an opportunity for me to challenge you in terms of the way you're thinking, or how you could become even better at a particular thing that I really think would open up new possibilities for you. And I want to earn the right by serving you, by earning that trust to be able to challenge you. And then ultimately in that, we both grow. And I want that. I want that from you, Erica, from you, Robbie. Like, you have both served me so well, and you have earned the right in my life to now challenge me. And Erica, you've used that a couple times in a great way. And I just invite that, so I just feel like if we want to see people and help them along the way, let's become even more servant challengers.
Mm, I love that servant challenger mindset. We'll have to link. You've written an article on that, I think, for CX Accelerator. We'll have to link that up in the show notes because it's so good, Nate. I love it so much.
Appreciate that. I got to tell one little horror story for Robbie. So I am a fan of badges. Shout out to Jeremy Hyde, who had the Workforce Alliance, and he had the same thing. His wife was making fun of his giant badges. He's like, I want to see the first name. I want to know the name right up. So you got a kindred spirit in Jeremy Hyde. But I had a nightmare scenario where there was a local show, and they had all their badges out on a table just out in front of the Country Music Hall of Fame, and no badge security at all. And somebody grabbed my badge off that table, who was not me, went into that conference hall, and proceeded to act a fool in some very aggressive and harassing and illegal ways. And I was getting emails from this conference organization saying, if you ever show your face again, you're going to be arrested. How dare you? Like, all these things. And I'm sitting here like, I hadn't even come to the show yet. I'm like, what is going on? And then it all came back to the fact that they were not actually checking that the badges they were giving people, that they belonged to the person they were giving them to.
See, that's where the warm and fuzzy and the security, they like to intersect. It is like there's a value for both, right? Like, you want to know who it is, but also, like, let's make sure you got the policy to make sure you got somebody checking who's wearing it.
Yeah.
Yes, don't ignore checks and balances ever.
Yes.
Let this be a word of warning to all of you out there.
That stuff's important. And to have an environment where somebody can feel psychologically safe to be able to lock in and engage. That week was a nightmare for me because they did not do anything to clear my name as part of that. And so everybody I was meeting at that show the next day could have been under the impression that I had committed an illegal act.
Ooh,
because
yeah.
of this. So I can talk about not being psychologically safe. So I'm a huge fan of what you're doing, Robbie, to not only make workplaces, places of learning, secure and safe to where we can engage and we can grow, but to also cultivate community as part of that with all the CX mind that you're bringing to it. I just think it's awesome, Robbie. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank y'all.
Yes,
All right.
thank you for being here, Robbie. I'm so pumped to get this episode out in the world. Really inspired by the work that you're doing and grateful for you being here.
All right. Well,
Thank you so
thank you,
much for
Robbie.
having me.
And until the next episode, appreciate you two very much. Thank you to the experience makers that are out there. These experiences matter, and so do the people who are making them. Until the next episode, thank you, everybody.